Hello, um, me again. um, so today I wanted to answer a question that I get asked a lot. Um, the question is, how long does it take to write a book? Because some people know that I've written a book, an international bestseller in 7 days, and it was an international bestseller 7 days after I came up with the idea. We call it doing a wallahi these days. And other books I've written in 5 days. Other books have taken me 3 years. One of the books that I'm writing at the moment, I think I'm now in year 4. But most books we can bring to fruition within. It depends on how focused the client is, really. I can sort my books out in about a month. And we're talking like a proper book here. We're talking, research is done. And we're writing it, proofreading it, getting everything ready, edited, and not structurally edited, copy edited. And I'll go on to structural editing shortly. And it also depends on the clients that I'm working with at the moment, at any given time, because sometimes when you're working with a client, you are faced with, do I continue writing my books or do I put the client first? And there is a book that I'm working on. There are 2 books I'm working on at the moment that one of them should have been published in May last year. One of them should have been published in August last year. Both books have brought up a lot for each of the women that are running these books. And I say running the books because it's their book, their vision, and I'm here to hold space for them and support them. And when they deliver the input materials will depend on whether their delivery date or the deadline has been met, and if it is a fit for what's actually going on in the publishing schedule. Because sometimes when a client misses a deadline, I'm like, well, I'm sorry, there's another book that's actually in that space, or my book is due to release. And I've actually, at the moment, I'm 3 books behind on my Sacral series, and I'm 2 books behind on the Mermaid's Guide series. And so I put my clients first a lot of the time. But there are some times I'm like, look, I just have to get this book out, and you're just going to have to wait. If you wanted your book out on time, then you should have hit the deadline and you should have gone to schedule. And this is the thing. So it really does depend on a lot of things, because when you're dealing with so many moving parts of a book, if you are late delivering, one of my proofreaders might be working on another book, my graphic designers will be working on a different book, my editors will be working on a different book, Jerry will be working on something else, Linda will be working on something else. My team are all around the world, and we're working on so many projects that when a client delivers late, then they're going to have to wait. They have to fit into the schedule of all the other books that we're working on. And someone said to me, how on earth do you manage so many projects? And it comes with time. It comes with experience. I've been running businesses since I was 21, 23 years ago. When I ran my first business, I was also renovating a house and dealing with my ex-husband, who had just had a brain tumour removed, or he just had some seizures while we were out in Greece on holiday. So managing the business and a house renovation, and dealing with the health and the recovery of my ex-husband, that was good practice. And then once he was better and the house was renovated, we set up another business, and I was on the board of the Black Minority and Ethnic Forum, and Regional Regeneration Forums, and doing a lot of fundraising and a lot of community projects. Because I'm active, I like to keep busy. Now, years ago, it was I love to keep busy because I want to give back, but I was also, unbeknownst to me, avoiding certain things. I was avoiding feeling. I was saying, well, I also had this thing. I've got something in my eye. I don't know what it is. But it might be, I don't know. Anyway, Where was I going? Avoiding feeling, keeping ourselves busy. Oh, and I also used to think that if you weren't doing anything, you were being lazy. I didn't understand or comprehend rest. I got a lot of stuff done. And through those skills, I also signed up to something called Success Motivation International that was designed by a guy called Paul J. Meyer from the South Africa, I believe. John, my mentor, was from South Africa. And it was all about managing your time into 5 minutes increments and actually planning your day in 5 minute increments. So that you were actually able to master time, not manage time. And the mastering of the time came down to the point where it'd be like, okay, how long does this trip between this meeting and this meeting take? Okay, let's build in a contingency for that. And it was all about building contingencies into things. And it was also about comprehending how long it took you to do something and looking at every eventuality, anything that could go wrong. Okay, so let's just say I'm going from one meeting to another meeting and I need to get a report done or read a report. And it's like, okay, so it's quite a long journey. I don't know, let's just say from Oxford to London. There might be traffic jams. So actually have the report there ready, because if there is a traffic jam, you might as well just sit there and read the report while you're sat in traffic. And I don't mean, read it while you're driving. I'm actually on about sitting in traffic. The M40 and the M25 in the UK are known for traffic jams where you're sat there for hours. Get the report out, do your work. If you need to record notes, have a voice note recorder on your phone, make the notes there. Very simple things, but they get stuff done. And this is the thing. This is why I can manage so many projects. And also the projects that I work on are actually staged. So I know that, let's just say, for example, what books have we got going on at the moment? Let's just say Crystal's book, 51 Powerful Keys to Public Speaking. Now, her book was the one that was supposed to be published in May. And we pulled out all the stops to make sure that it was published to her deadline. But unfortunately, there were some things that happened within her private life. And Crystal is also a minister, which meant that with the few of the deaths that were in her community, she had to minister and put that as a precedent on her book. So her book got shifted. And then there was the editing process of it. And then we've doubled the word count of it. And the book that she originally came to me with is a much bigger book. It's a much more cohesive book and culturally diverse book. It's so much more powerful. And we've looked at how her public speaking, marking and grading system, how much more streamlined that is. Because my team have looked at it and gone, well, I don't understand the point scoring system. I don't understand how that works. And this is one of the things that people get when they actually work with me. We'll actually look over and go, well, that doesn't make sense. Or, oh, my God, that is such a brilliant idea. We need to extrapolate on this. And then you've got Debbie's book, Alive to Thrive. An incredibly powerful book. The story of 10 women who have tried to commit suicide, failed, and then what they've gone on to achieve after it. And these women are incredible. They really, truly are. And there've been so many delays with this book because of getting present to the power of it. We have looked at trigger warnings. We have had to look at the actual bigger vision, because some of these stories have created and have had to create a bigger vision for Debbie. And she's had to process and get her head around what she's actually created here. And so we're looking at a lot of legalities at the moment. So her book, even though it was supposed to be published in August last year, we're now looking at legal copyright, legal proofreading, and making sure that everything is in place, and that what has been written, we are protecting Debbie and everybody else that's written their stories, because there's no point going to publish a book and on behalf of a client and then actually have them facing legal problems. I don't work that way. and I'm very protective over my clients. I want their books to be the absolute best that they can be. And so basically it's been looking, okay, well, how much longer is this going to take? Okay, what's a realistic amount of time? And again, bringing in that contingency. Now, for me, these are just basic business skills, which I understand not a lot of people and build into it. And people go, but Dawn, you smash out book after book after book after book. I'm like, yeah, because I'm an author. This is something that I have chosen as a career. I'm not just an entrepreneur who wants to write a book to collect people's email addresses. I don't want to just write one book. I have a lot of books in me, and there are lots of things that I want to achieve with my writing. There are lots of things that can be achieved with my writing, and there are series of books. And one of the things I do with my clients, I go, right, okay, well, let's just say with Corey's book, Becoming the Champion, we're talking about his second book at the moment. And it's okay, this is what we've got going on. This is the investment that we need to put into this book to make sure that this book is a huge success. Okay, but how does that book fit in with, say, Debbie's book? And how does Crystal's book fit in with all the other books? And then how does Lani's book fit into it? And then how does all the other books that I publish on behalf of clients and all the other books that I write, how are they all fitting in to this bigger global vision that I have? And how can I serve best my clients, or as I call my author family, how can I best serve them with the next book that I take on or the next book that we release? So there's a lot of planning going on, and the spreadsheet that we have, the publishing spreadsheet, gets updated by Linda and myself regularly. Just again, that it's just been updated again this weekend. And it can be challenging because, you know, people write their chapters, they send them in, and we start work on it, and then we have to stop. And then, you know, for whatever reason that might be, and then everyone's like, well, why haven't I got this? And well, I need to get this down. And I'm like, we can't do that until this is in place. So, for example, the artwork. One of the things that we do at Dawn Publishing is we never do the artwork before we've got all of the chapters in. And one of the reasons why we do that is because we want to look at the psychology behind the chapters. We want to look at who will benefit greatly from the book, who the client markets their business to, and who they are aiming to work with in the future. What impact is the book having, and what is actually going to be an evergreen book cover, not just a fashionable one or a trendy one? What is going to have this book cover appeal to people for a much longer period of time? So it's about finding timeless colours, it's about finding timeless imagery, and how we put that together on the book covers to actually make sure that people's attentions are being drawn to that one. And then we look at, okay, well, there are a lot of these books, like for example with Crystal, she wanted to have her photograph on the front cover of her book. Not something that I would normally recommend. I know that you have people like Michelle Obama and Beyonce, and or like Gordon Ramsay was on the front of his book, and you've got a lot of that. And then recently we've seen, you know, a lot of what I call the lava lamp book covers. These are going to go out of fashion. Then you've got the bro marketing books, you know, very masculine, big, massive fonts in your face, very strong, striking colours. And it's about, okay, well, what kind of market is that going into? How are we going to look at this? What does this colour mean? What's actually being written about in the book? And so we can't, I personally don't believe you can do the book cover until the book has been written. And it, again, other people might think you can, but I'm not other people. And one of the things that we see is, I mean, Jerry, one of his designs for Moana, we entered that into a book cover design competition, and we were shortlisted. I think he came third. Well done, Jerry. So the thing is, like with the Sacral series, we wanted to have the same theme running through them so that they were identifiably the same series. We also have to look at the way in which the eyes look and the different colours, and are they representative of the culture of the person inside the book? Are they actually bringing out? And I'll say to Jerry, this is what the book is about. I know what my books are about. I know what's going to come out of them. And we are looking at different covers. You know, when we've just gone through a structural re-edit of Friday Bridge Wallahi and Crossing the Line, and we're actually dividing those 3 books into 2 duologies. So there will be 4 books. Again, it's looking at how we market the books and who we're attracting and how everything fits into a larger vision. So when people come and work with me, they are getting someone, and they are getting a whole team of people who have been in this business for a very long time and are actually looking at the book as a much bigger product. Now, also, one of the things that I encourage my clients to do is people like to hear the audio book. Now, I'm not, sorry, I was just thinking escucha me. It's not escucha me. I've just been doing Spanish, so bear with me a second. Like, there are some words I'm like, what is that? So we're looking at audiobooks, and also I was thinking about audiograms. So one of the things that we're getting our clients to do is actually look at audiograms. Really nice short speak. You'll have seen quite a few of those come out with the book, the Menopause book that I'm doing at the moment, The Potent Power of Menopause. So getting all the clients to do that so that people can hear snippets. So before the cover art goes out there, at least people are hearing little bits, or I'm using like quotes from the book. And we're getting people to pick out, because it's an anthology, we're getting the authors to pick out their favourite part. We're doing interviews with each of the authors. When I'm about to launch a book, then I start showing up on podcasts and, talking about the book. I write about the book well in advance. So a lot of, and you've also got to remember that people that are just looking for a graphic are people that are scrolling. People who buy books read. And yes, we have the audiobooks, as I was saying, so people want to listen to the books. But for me, the kind of books that I write, they're great as audiobooks, they are. But sometimes, because the sound activates a different part of your brain, yes, I even bring NLP and neuroscience into the books that I write and how we market them. So because the audiobook activates a different part of the book to the written books, what we've got to look at is how we can marry those 2 together. And the subjects that we're writing about, you can listen to them, but you can switch off. And some of the things in the books you do not want to be switching off from. Now, if you're reading a novel, it's really great that you can listen to them while you're driving or while you're going for a run. I mean, I can't even listen to music when I'm running because I start dancing. So there's no way that I could listen to a story while I'm running. Not that I run. No. As my friend Leslie says, if you see me running, you should start running too. I've got 10k medals, but that was back in the day when I was training for my black belt in MMA. So what we're looking at is how can we maximize your audience with all of the aspects of your book. And if you are only looking to put your book out on an audio book, which I know that some people are now just considering because nobody's got time to read anything, you're actually missing a huge level of the book. And I would really recommend not listening to some of the books that I publish whilst you're driving, or whilst you're, just don't listen to them, read them. Because the impact that these books have is much deeper, and the awareness you have of what's going on in the world and what it means to you and your own healing and transformational journey is much richer than just listening. And this isn't the other thing. It's like when you read the books that I write and publish, and my clients write and I publish on their behalf, we're actually giving you a gift of transformation that you're probably getting for less than $25. Most of the books, depending on whether they're ebook or not, will only really be about $7.99 up to, I think, like we've got $25.99 at the moment. And that you can, whichever currency that is in, I think that's dollars. You're being gifted transformation, and you're being gifted a lot of the business expertise that people pay me tens of thousands for. So, you can either sit there and read a book full of transformation that you've only paid $20 for, or you can sit there and wonder how you can afford to pay me the tens of thousands of dollars to work with me over a year. And both are great. I'm happy with both of them. But the thing is, you've got to take action. You've got to understand that they both are very powerful. And I always recommend that if you do want to work with me, it's probably always best that you read one of my books first to really truly understand who you're dealing with. Like I said, one of my clients, Nathan, was like, oh my God, like, what have I been up to? Like, when I read Crossing the Line, I felt as though I'd not been doing anything with my life, like everything that you've achieved all. And then there's a lady in India, Shirisha, who's read Alpha. And she's only read Alpha, but already she's rewriting her book, because just by reading one of my books, she now feels braver to go deeper and be more vulnerable with her writing. That's the power of reading one of my books. But also, I've had lots of women say to me, oh my God, I read your books and now I know how to set up a business. Or I've read your book, now I know what I need to do. Or I've read your book and I went and started my own business and it saved my marriage. I've had so many humbling messages. And this is the thing, when you actually buy the written copy of the book, whether that is Kindle or whether it's the in-hands copy, as Lani calls it, and you actually take that time to sit and be with yourself and you be with the book. Now, I always keep notepads, post-it notes, colour-coded ones, legal tabs with me, and a pen, because then I can make notes. And one of the things you'll find with all the anthologies that I publish, we give you reflection pages so that you can create notes after having read each chapter, because each chapter is powerful. And so we're gifting you the opportunity to spend time with your thoughts having read each chapter. So yeah, the books are powerful, and that's one of the reasons why, when we're looking at how long it's going to take us to publish the book, I build in a lot of contingency. And it's something that I've learnt because I've got, oh well, we should be able to get this done in no time at all. But I've forgotten that I do this for a living. I write books for a living. I'm not a serial author, as one person called me. Like, what is that? You're either an author or you're not. You don't say a chef is a serial chef just because he's cooked more than one meal. That's just ridiculous thinking. So I do this for a living. So I know the process. I know what's involved. And I just get on and I get it done. And unless you are somebody like me who just writes from a higher consciousness place, I call it the conscious unconscious creation process. Unless you are somebody who does this for a living and you write book after book after book after book, then the writing process and the subjects you write about will challenge you, and there may be delays. Now, there are people out there that saying, you can write a book and become an influencer in a weekend. Yeah, well, good luck with that. I don't subscribe to that. I highly recommend against doing it. My how we did Wallahi was just incredible. That was 14 days from concept to publication and international bestseller on 3 continents. But it was because it was very... people knew I'd lived out in Egypt. We were still dealing with the aftermath of Egypt. I had a huge following, and I said, right, do not contact me for the next week. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write Wallahi. People are like, oh my God, what's she doing? And then I was just keeping people, okay, today I wrote 10,000 words. Today I wrote 12,000 words. Today I wrote this many words. And people are like, how does she write all those words in a day? Because it's my job. Clear and simple. It's my job to write books. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I've written books in 5 days. But they have not been published straight away. They haven't been published. We didn't do a wallahi with those. We actually then, I think the Sacral series books, they take me about a month from start to finish. So that's good. Month, no, maybe three to 4 weeks. But I've already got an established career. The wheels are already in motion with a lot of my books. So that's how we get the books written. Some books, like I said, have taken me 5 days. Some have taken me 3 years. Some have taken me, I think Nomad is taking me about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years, because there's a lot of research to be done. And then I've written loads of stuff and I've gone, ooh, that was a new experience. Oh, that better go in there. That was a bit of an eye-opener. That better go in there. But that book is almost finished now. Parts of South America and Central America have proven to be quite challenging. So we had to revisit some of the chapters in that. So yeah, they got rewritten. And now, once I've just finished these last couple of chapters, they're going to go off to my editor. She's going to look through them and make sure all the structure is fine and the copywriting is fine. And then they're going to get proofread for legalities and everything. The artwork is pretty much just needs more of a tweak. And yeah. Books will take as long as they need to take. And some books will get written very quickly. Some books won't. But depends on the amount of research that you've got to do. And what the books are actually about. Crossing the Line took 3 years. We were dealing with a court case. We had to wait for court results. We had to wait for evidence, and there was lots of legal study to be done in that book. I wrote Annie's biography, Becoming Annie. I met Annie, and 4 months later we published her biography. I spent 3 months deep dive researching and stalking that woman within an inch of her life and writing it. Sent it to her. She read it, came back. I made the edits. She read it again. I made the edits. Her daughter read those, and this is the thing, it's like there was not money within the budget for it to be edited, structurally edited. So that didn't get done, but it did get proofread. And this is the other thing. Sometimes my clients don't invest in certain parts of the process, or they invest to a certain point. I'm like, okay, for us to get this book where it needs to be, there needs to be more investment. And then it will mean that the client has to go away and then get that investment, and then we put it forward, and then we get on to the next stage. So it really does depend on what's going on and where the client is at. So how long will it take you to write your book? The best thing to do is contact me or send me an email through dawnbates.com/contact, or send me a message on LinkedIn, and we can have a call and find out where your book is already at, what vision you've got, what experience you've got, what budget you've got, and then we go from there. That is the best way for me to tell you how long your book will take to write. So it's a very long one tonight. I know it's about 28 minutes, 30 minutes by a quick look up there. But how long is a piece of string? How long is a video supposed to be? So I hope that you found this useful. And if you want to read any of my books, head on over to dawnbates.com/readers, and you'll be able to find many books over there. All right then, well, you take care, happy writing. And if you need any help at all, then do let me know. All right then, ciao for now.